Hello and welcome to you all. Yes, it's the old Git here again. Yet another video, and yes, as you know, I make videos about what really riles me up. I've been on this earth for 72 years, and I'm watching everything go to pot, everything disappear up its own orifice. Well, welcome everyone. A few idiot people have kind of accused me of being anti-Muslim. Well, letting good Muslims put their points to you today rather than me. In other words, I agree with what they are saying rather than me or you agreeing with what I'm saying. You get me? You get the point? No, probably you don't. Talking gobbledygook. Now, what I'm saying basically is Muslims who are good Muslims, and there's many of them, I've said this so many times, but they came to the West to make a better life, and they started to raise their kids and assimilate as far as they could and follow their religion. But then came the radicals, the people that want to destroy the West, and it all went pear-shaped. Now, before we go anywhere, we just show you this for a second. This is the Islamic doomsday clock. I use it quite often, and it's for you to decide where you think Britain or Europe is on this clock. I'd like some feedback. You could say it's at 10 o'clock, it's at 6 o'clock, it isn't on the clock. Whatever you want to say, send me an email or well, you can see that all my socials are here. You can see Best Before TV at Gmail or Best Before T on X, or you can go to the website which shows the TV station as well, that's on 24 hours a day with films and things. But there you'll find the old Git page, and all these videos are on that page. Or you can go to Rumble and find me on Rumble, and you can also comment on Rumble. So I want you to share the hell out of these videos if you believe the things that I'm not saying, that good Muslims are saying today, although I agree with what they're saying. Just to start the ball rolling, this is a picture of the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood and also the leader of Hamas. Why is that there? Well, that will become apparent in a little while. The Muslim Brotherhood is a transnational, I'm reading this, Islamist movement founded in Egypt in 1928. In the UK, the organisation associated with the Muslim Brothers have been present for over 50 years, primarily consisting of exiles and students. Now, a UK government review in 2015 examining the group's philosophy and its activities and influences on British national interests. But you concluded that the Brotherhood was not a terrorist organisation, but highlighted the concerns about its potential for extremism and the influence on national organisations and charities, of which it is a benefactor to many. Now, I think that this is me now. I think that the Muslim Brotherhood should be a banned organisation under the terrorist laws because basically they fund terrorist groups. But I'm saying it. Let's hear what a guy from the UAE, which is a Muslim country, says about the Muslim Brotherhood.
That a person that lives in Dubai, a Muslim person from the same background of the person that lives in France or in UK, third, fourth generation here, they're still open mind, they're still Muslim, they're still conservative, yet they're not radical. They're not supporters or glorifiers of terrorists. But a person who is a Muslim living all the way in France or Britain is more radicalized and is more there is more likely that he's going to become a member of the ISIS or a Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organization. Is the fact that the West, up to this point, the media is justifying the existence of, for example, Islamic Relief as a charity organization in UK or in the West. Why? It's not a charity organization. It's a foundation or an organization that steals the money from the West, the pockets of the people who are willing to help. Yet he takes that money and he gives it to organizations, terrorist organizations in the Middle East, under the name of a school and hospitals. But those schools are run by actual Islamist terrorists who fund and support even Hamas. You cannot be Muslim more than me. You will not be more Arab than I. So why is it that I banned the Muslim Brotherhood and you haven't? Why is it the fact that Islamic Relief is banned in UAE and it's banned in Mecca, but is allowed in Paris and in London? So there's a lot of questions to be asked.
Yeah, I think there's many more questions that we will explore in a follow-up to this.
Thank you for Viz Grant for that little clip there. But that guy is a Muslim. He lives in a Muslim country. And yet the Muslim Brotherhood is banned. And it's not only banned there, Mecca, which is the epicenter of Islamism. It's banned. So he is only saying what I believe. They fund terrorist groups, fund many terrorist groups. And they also run schools and they indoctrinate through them schools children from a very young age. Okay, so the UAE announced it was sanctioning 11 individuals and 8 rather obscure organizations for allegations to the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, the UAE prescribed the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist group in 2014, and yet in Britain they have bank accounts and they're not prescribed as a terrorist. A Muslim country prescribed them as a terrorist group in 2014. So you might forgive me for thinking that was routine, but it wasn't all 8 organisations were based in the UK. No, so 8 of those organisations were based in the UK, and it usually works the other way around. I mean, England should ban them. But the ban was, they were banned by the UAE. Now, having an Arab country, especially one we claim as a friend, do that in reverse should set alarm bells ringing. In other words, they ban it and we don't. And there was, originally in the West, shall we say, a flurry of press interest and complete silence. I wonder why. Okay, you work it out for yourselves. Why? Now, the Muslim Brotherhood has been working to destroy the United States. So it's not just Europe. I'm going full hog on this one. From within for decades. And I've got that secret written plan, which they did in 2019. And I'm not going to tell you about it. You've heard this lady speak in one of my other videos. Okay, her name is Bridget Gabriel. She was originally from Lebanon, and she grew up when the exact takeover that's going on in the West took over Lebanon, because Lebanon was a Christian country, and within 30 years of them being good Christians, they were taken over by radicals, shall we say. Okay, so her name is Bridget Gabriel, and she can explain, because she's actually written a book, and it lasts for about 3 minutes, this particular little clip, but she tells it the way it is, and she's been campaigning against the Muslim Brotherhood for, I don't know, many years. But if you look her up and find out who she is, you'll see that she's very genuine, she's not been planted, and she's been involved in the trying to ban this particular Muslim Brotherhood. So here she is. This is the actual plan that the Muslim Brotherhood released in 2019. Okay, we'll get her in a minute.
That.
Where is she?
Hello, everybody. I'm Brigitte Gabrielle. I am holding in my hand the Muslim Brotherhood Plan for North America, written in
That
5/22/1991. This is their plan, titled مذكرة تفسيرية للهدف الاستراتيجي العام في أمريكا الشمالية. This is about their explanation on how they're going to take over the West, their 100-year plan to infiltrate and dominate the West and establish an Islamic government on earth. This plan was presented as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts to Muslim Americans and Muslim organizations in America, raising money in the United States and sending it overseas to support terrorist activity overseas. And I'm going to read you a paragraph about their intention in the United States and how they describe their work. Number 4 of the paragraph is titled Understanding the Role of the Muslim Brother in North America. And it says, the process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religion. As you can see, they don't mince words. They don't beat around the bush. They tell you exactly what they want to do. They go in detail in this booklet talking about how they are going to implement their plan and the organizations that they had set up in the United States in order for them to advance their plan in America. And here are the names of some of the organizations. They give the names of 29 organizations set up in America to do that. So I'm going to read you some of the names. ISNA, the Islamic Society of North America. If the name sounds familiar, it's because ISNA used to be advisors to President Obama about Middle East policy. So now you understand where signing the nuclear deal with Iran came from and why Obama was all over himself trying to appeal to the Iranian regime, even sending them pallets of cash in the middle of the night on an airplane, landing in an airport in the middle of the night, millions and billions of our tax dollars. Number 2 on the list is the MSA, the Muslim Student Association. The Muslim Student Association has chapters all over American universities. So today when you are watching all these demonstrators on our American universities screaming death to the Jews, we hate the Jews, from the river to the sea, Gaza will be free or Palestine will be free. Now you understand where that is coming from. Number 8 on the list is the North American Islamic Trust. The North American Islamic Trust owns 90% of mosques in the United States. Number 22 on the list is IAP, Islamic Association for Palestine, which later became CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Now, when you read all this stuff, you think to yourself, how can this happen? Does our government know about this stuff? I have been talking about these things for over 15 years. This is detailed in my book, They Must Be Stopped, which came out in 2008, detailing this plan. When I used to talk about these things, I was accused of being an Islamophobe. People called me a hater. Nobody wanted to listen. When I was warning about the Muslim student associations on college campuses and the money coming from the Middle East funding a social study department, a political science department, and appointing professors who are anti-America and anti-Israel to teach that Israel is evil, America is bad, and the Islamic world is the underdog, and the Palestinians are the oppressed, nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to pay attention. So today when you see all these people organized on the streets in the United States, hating Israel, hating the Jewish people, hating America, tearing down American flags and the pro-Palestinian demonstrations in New York City, now you understand where that is coming from. If you want more details about this plan, you can read it through my book, They must be stopped, which is available on Amazon, as well as for a donation for Act for America, tax-deductible donation. We will mail you the book so you can understand what we are dealing with. Thank you for your time. Please share this video far and wide and encourage your friends to share it. And please go to Act for America.
Yes, okay, we will share it with our. Okay, she's got a little plug in there for a book, but you can understand that woman, and I'll tell you why I used that clip for her to explain, because she's been doing this for 15 years. Now, you heard her say about President Obama sending pallets of money down there. You've heard about the funding and how it's come. And the reason the woman's so into this is because she saw her own country taken over during her childhood. She saw Christians massacred in the streets. She saw the grand takeover and making Lebanon more or less a Muslim state, and also because the Christian faith is kind. And they said they were fair. Oh, well, if we're going to have a prime minister that's Christian, we'll have the Home Secretary who's a Muslim. And they did it, and they tried. This was tried, but they did. They used the gotten power and having children to take over her country. That's another story. If you want to go back to our videos, you can see Gabriel. You can see, her account of it, Bridget Gabriel's account of what happened in Lebanon. And this is why I am so worried for Europe, because the actual modus operandum that's going on is exactly the same as how they take over any country. First they infiltrate, and once they do. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go and dwell on it. You know what's happening. If you don't know what's happening, then you've been born with no eyes. Anyway, I mean, Barack Obama, Middle East policy advisors were said to be involved in this funding campaign. Now, that plan hasn't changed in 1400 years. That's their goal, to dominate. Now, I believe that Islam, if not stopped, will take over Western society, and internal war against non-Muslims is being waged as we speak. Repopulation of people from third world countries is taking place, assisted by weak left-wing Western governments, helped by woke, misinformed tree huggers. And this is going on all over Europe. And they say coexistence, cooperation, and accommodation is not the goal. Right from the horse's mouth, I'm going to let you hear another warning. And hopefully I won't press the wrong button this time. I do apologise. I get very, very uptight about what's going on. So hopefully we're going to listen to Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed. I've listened to him before. Let's see how he comes up.
Let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
Well, that's short and sweet. But again, another highly respected Muslim man from a Muslim country, Abdullah bin Zayed, is warning radical Muslims, Islamists, taking over in Europe. Now, I haven't proved anything in regard to my theory that Western society will be taken over by Islam in less than 30 years. So I think I should let the perpetrators of this takeover tell you themselves. But what I will say, I only give you a snippet of what's on social media. I'm going to ask the British and European government, why are they allowed to spread this radical and it's not taken down? Whereas if you say something wrong in England or Europe, you're condemned. You can even go to prison. But they can spread this radical rubbish all over the world and nothing is said. Why is that? So, Islam came to dominate the world, and this is what's been spread. So let's hear it from from themselves, shall we? Yes.
Islam hasn't come to fit in to the Indian system or the French system or the British system. Domination is when you have your own system, your own set of laws where you can apply.
Islam didn't come to be accommodated into a secular world. Rather, Islam came to establish itself and accommodate all other people within the fold of Islam as Muslims or Ahl Dhimma.
Well, Muhammad's 3 steps was immigrate, increase, eliminate. Immigrate into Medina as a religious refugee. Increase the number of your followers, of those who feel like they've been victimized. And then you eliminate the previous culture. You're right, neighborhood by neighborhood.
We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world.
We want to change the power structure, the existence of how human beings live today to be under an Islamic world order.
Islam should rule everywhere, he says. The whole world has to become Muslim.
Well, there you go, horse's mouth. They didn't come to assimilate, they came to dominate. And there's a few people there. So these messages are all over social media. They're never, as I said, they're never taken down. Islam will not accept any other religion or tolerate coexistence. Okay, they can, but what about following the law of the land of which they've just gone to live in? What about following the law of that land? Do you think that will happen? Do you think they will respect the law of the land? It's a fair question. So let's again, we must ask these people in their own words if they will ever accept our laws. And from the horse's mouth,
the only way for us to prove our Americanism is to prove that we are loyal to the security forces of this government, of this country. We can't be loyal to that. If you are loyal to that, then I'm sorry, you're betraying your religion.
We cannot ever support anything religiously, politically, socially, culturally that is opposed to the Quran and the Sunnah.
Muslims, we don't believe that you can judge by kufr laws. You have to judge by the Quran Sunnah, but judge by the Sharia. That's why we cannot take our disputes to the kufr courts, the British kufr courts, or even any court which does not going to give a verdict based on the Quran and the Sunnah.
The answer is no. We can't bring Islam and democracy together. The reason is because, number one, the one that legislates in Islam is Allah alone, and He has no partners in His legislation. As Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِ أَحَدًا.
Those who make man-made laws, making halal, Allah made haram, and so on. He said, if you obey them, you become mushrikeen. You become the polytheists. So there's nothing called obey the law of the land. There's something called obey Allah and let the shaitan and tawheed go to hell.
But what does that mean in practical terms? If
it means if there's a contradiction between Islamic law and the British law can go to hell.
You decide to still ram democracy down our throat. We don't want democracy. We want the rule of Sharia, and that is part of being a Muslim. So we need to basically overthrow these apostate governments and put real people in that love Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, that will implement Sharia.
Well, there you go. There's enough of them. That wasn't me telling you. That was them telling you that they will never conform to any law except Sharia law. So, at this stage in this little video today, where are we? Well, we've got people that don't want to follow our law. We've got people that want to take over the world, and if you don't conform, I've seen the outcry that they sort of shout at you is, conform, or what's the word they use now? confirm or get hurt or something like that they use, and it's going on, and all these young kids are getting radicalized. All these second and now third generation young Muslim kids are getting radicalized. They're out on the streets armed with machetes, protected. They were taking British flags down, but they can put Palestinian flags up, but not British flags. They don't like it. It said it offends them. It's the country's flag, for God's sake. It is the flag of the country that you're in is a Union Jack, St George's flag, or Scottish flag. It is what it is. Why do you want to disrespect the flag of the country that takes you in? I will never know. As I say, I get very uptight about this because I think it's disgusting, and you should spread these videos around as much as you can and get in touch with me, give me your feedback, because it's not me, and it's probably maybe not you, but your children or children's children will be suffering if something doesn't happen. Now, we have very good immigrants that come to the country. We have Sikh people. They're fantastic people. They stick to their religion. They do it, but they go out and they take part in British culture and British way of life as well. Same as Hindus, same as the Chinese. Everybody does, except these people who are trying to. And these poor kids who are getting radicalized are going to lose out in the end, because the lion, which is Britain, is sleeping, but it won't sleep forever. So think on, be careful. Anyway, one more preacher that says, well, let's let him say, I'm not going to say, another radical preacher.
Islam is growing in Europe, and we're going to take over anyway.
Yeah, I read
very soon, I'm sure.
with your speech in Paris. You talked about the black flags, planting black flags. What does that mean?
Yeah, the black flag is the flag of Islam. We have a black flag, yeah. You have the American flag, and you people went to the moon and planted the American flag. So when a Muslim says, I'm going to plant the black flag on the White House, everyone is surprised. Why is he saying that? And what's more crazy, planting a black flag on the White House or planting an American flag on the moon? I don't know, just I'm asking the question. So an Islamic flag, we believe that Islam will dominate the world. It's a little bit funny to say, but Islam will dominate the world.
Islam will dominate the world. This is a repetitive story that if you go on to social media, you will find so many of these. Basically, for me, it's quite scary because nobody opposes this. Nobody argues with it because they're afraid to. They get accused of being Islamophobic. The good Muslims, apart from the very strong Muslims from the UAE or Mecca or Saudi Arabia, these people will stand up to this ridiculous. In fact, they won't have them in the country. Now you see why they don't take Palestinian refugees. They don't want them. But at the same time, we're getting all these people who are far more radicalized in Europe and the UK and America, hell bent on taking you over, and it's like they want you to live back at how they did in the 14th century. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just worrying for the next generations of Europeans. Sorry for the little mistake. I always make mistakes in my videos. I do them all on my own. And don't forget, us old people, it takes us a little time to catch up with technology. I hope you're going to share this video around, or please give me some feedback. If you believe that what I'm saying is bullcrap, let me know. But I know it's not. I'm not saying it. People far more intelligent than me, far more educated than me, are saying this. And people are worried and they're afraid. All the people who are coming in on the little boats, we don't know who they are. They're very easy fodder. The stupid Labour government thinks by giving them votes they'll get elected. Well, they don't, because they're forming their own parties now. The Muslim mayor of Birmingham and the Muslim mayor of London is turning already them cities great cities into their little caliphates, little Gazas. That's what I think. So, until the next time, folks, as I say, I think I bored you enough. As I said, I'm sorry for the little mix-up earlier on in the video, but there you go, that's life. And I will obviously see you as soon as I can, and I calm down and I come up with my next video. Until then, share this video around, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care now.